tomorrow night will be the first debate, and we're going to carry as much of it as we can live. We'll be on the whole time it's on, but, you know, we have to go to commercial breaks and stuff like that. So I will provide a snarky running commentary as I can while the presidential debates progress tomorrow evening, 9 Eastern. Check your local listings. I always wanted to say that. Check your local listings. Barry Commoner died today. If you don't know who he is, please Google him, a founder of modern ecology, and as the Times called him, one of its most provocative thinkers and mobilizers in making environmentalism a people's political cause. He was 95. He lived in Brooklyn Heights, New York. Dr. Commoner was a leader, again quoting from the Times obituary, a leader among a generation of scientist activists who recognized the toxic consequences of America's post-World War II technology boom, and one of the first to stir the national debate over the public's right to comprehend the risks and make decisions about them. He was raised in Brooklyn during the Depression, trained as a biologist at Columbia and Harvard, and he came armed with a combination of scientific expertise and leftist zeal. Not right wing. No. The great thinkers never are. His work on the global effects of radioactive fallout, which included documenting concentrations of strontium-90 in the baby teeth of thousands of children, contributed materially to the adoption of the Nuclear Test Ban Treaty of 1963. In 1970, the year of the first Earth Day, Time magazine put Dr. Commoner on its cover and called him the Paul Revere of ecology. If you are vaguely familiar with Barry Commoner, but you really don't know, or if you're of a younger generation, never heard of him, please Google Barry Commoner. Just another giant from the left side of the political spectrum who did so much to advance human progress. Another one, dead. Of course, 95 is not an age where you mourn someone's death, I guess. I don't know. It's just... Since tomorrow night is debate night, tonight we were doing we're going to filter in a little bit of church night. Church night we do every Wednesday in commemoration of my years of going to prayer meeting on Wednesday night with my Southern Baptist grandparents and the amazing things that happened in that upper room while I watched the adults praying and stuff. So we do it every Wednesday night. The regular listeners to this program are very familiar with it, probably overly familiar with it, probably thinking, oh, Jesus, enough already, so to speak. But anyway, we are going to do a little bit tonight. We might as well start with this. A letter. This is from JewishJournal.com. A letter handwritten by Albert Einstein a year before his death, expressing his views on religion, will be sold on eBay this month with an opening bid of $3 million. That's according to an auction agency today who will be handling this. This letter is known as the God Letter, and it offers insights into the private thoughts about religion, God, and tribalism of possibly the world's most brilliant mind, certainly in the 20th, 21st, whatever. I would call him the most brilliant mind of all time, but then, of course, that eliminates some other geniuses. So let's say one of the world's most brilliant minds. The president of Auction Cause, the Los Angeles-based premier auction agency, will handle the sale on eBay. And the person handling the auction said, quote, "This letter, in my opinion, is really historical and cultural significance, as these are the personal private thoughts of arguably the smartest man of the 20th century. The letter was written near the end of his life, after a lifetime of learning and thought." Einstein wrote the letter, end quote. Einstein wrote the letter in German On January 3rd, 1954, on Princeton University letterhead. He wrote it to philosopher Eric Gutkind after he read Gutkind's book, Choose Life, The Biblical Call to Revolt. Among other things, Einstein said the following, quote, "The word God is for me nothing more than the expression and product of human weaknesses. The Bible, a collection of honorable but still primitive legends, which are nevertheless pretty childish. No interpretation, no matter how subtle, can change this." Aha! God. Primitive legends, which are nevertheless pretty childish. The word God is for me nothing more than the expression and product of human weaknesses. Bullseye. Not that I would affirm or deny anything spoken by Albert Einstein, but I just so completely agree. Oh, and tonight is the eve of Yom Kippur, the Jewish Day of Atonement, which I guess is tomorrow. Is that correct? Kathy, you're Jewish. Is it, you're not, oh, that's right, you're Syrian, never mind. Tomorrow is the Jewish Day of Atonement. Tonight is the eve of Yom Kippur. And this story comes from the Chicago Tribune during a worship service. No, wait a minute, I'm sorry, I'm a week behind, aren't I? Am I a week behind? Yeah, I'm a week behind. Never mind. The story's still good. I was just kidding about Kathy being Jewish. Kathy is about atheistic as they come. This is last week. I just got the story today because Yom Kippur was last Wednesday. So anyway, last Tuesday during a service at a synagogue, the Anshe Emet synagogue in one of the suburbs of Chicago, the rabbi, Michael Siegel, offered what he called a customary greeting to a public official in the audience. Who was in the audience? Michele Bachmann. Now, the greeting follows a synagogue policy to acknowledge the office rather than the individual or his or her politics, according to Rabbi Siegel. But the formality of the shout-out enraged the congregants, prompting some to walk out. They walked out of the service. And one walked out to start a campaign of his own in support of Bachmann's opponent in the race for her congressional seat, Jim Graves, the man I mentioned yesterday. Gary Sirkis, who stormed out of the synagogue where he has observed the high holy days for 25 years, said, quote, "The holiness of the room and the holiness of the evening was greatly diminished for me, if not completely destroyed. Our congregation values and embodies tolerance, compassion, respect for individual rights, intelligence, science, all of the things that I think Michele Bachmann stands against." Good for you, Gary. Later that night, he wrote an email to Graves' campaign and sent it to others, urging them to donate. His words have since gone viral. One of the things Sirkis wrote, quote, "I felt that the best way to honor, quote, quote, Ms. Bachmann's visit was to make a contribution to the Graves campaign, to your campaign. Even though I do not vote in Minnesota, please do everything in your power to take away this evil woman's soapbox." And as a result, the Graves campaign saw a 400% uptick in donations from the Chicago area last week, according to Adam Graves, the candidate's son and campaign manager. No word on why Bachmann was in Chicago or why she chose to attend the Jewish service. Probably to see if she could disrupt it, and she did a damn good job of it. We'll be right back.